Shalom Chavrim, I'm Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live. Hoping to get stationary here before too long so that we can sit down and really go over the things that are happening around the world. But let me just give you just a quick update here. RT News is reporting that Saudi Arabia is committed and ready to send ground troops into Syria. Now, this can really upset the balance of all the issues there. We have been telling you guys just in the recent broadcast how much the Vatican has the power over the oil reserves all in the Middle East there through their companies that they owned in both Shell and Gulf Oil, especially Gulf Oil International in Lebanon, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Syria, and Jordan. Of course, there's not been any oil discoveries in Jordan, but off the coast of Syria, where Russia signed the agreement with President Bashar al-Assad, his administration there, for the rights to drill and test drill. Back last year, they signed that agreement in August for the state-run Russian company to be able to test drill off of Syria's coast. This is why President Putin sent in his forces to back up Bashar al-Assad to keep him in power. Because they began that exploratory drilling there. He is, as he has said publicly, he is there to protect Russia's national interests. And he claims that NATO, the West, the U.S. allies, of course, U.S. leading the way on this, are not respecting Russia's national interest. Well, I agree with him. They definitely are not. And the reason they are not is because the Vatican's company, Gulf International, has substantial investments there in Syria as well. This is one reason why they're not going along with the idea that Russia would get control of this area or have any ties with Bashar al-Assad. It is why the United States has been made as a puppeteer of the Vatican to bring their NATO forces in there and oust the President Bashar al-Assad, not directly trying to oust Russia, but indirectly by getting rid of Assad. Then they know they've got Russia out the door as well, and they get control of the entire Middle East. That's a strategic problem for Russia to allow the NATO and their allies to come in there and just throw them out. So Russia's not going to go away quietly, but they are definitely ramping up the pressure on Russia. And of course, we know that President Rouhani just met with the Pope of Rome on the 27th of January. In fact, we were there 2 days later. We wish we could have got some photos of Rouhani coming in. But the Pope said something very ironic about that visit. He said that they were spiritually that is, well, forget the exact wording that he uses there, but pretty much the same, on the same page, so to speak. And anyway, though, that was just a shocker to me to begin with. And if you think about the spiritual connection that they hold together, you can only imagine then with Rouhani thinking that Israel should be wiped off the face of the map. Well, the Pope must have similar thoughts as well. But the Shiites, which that's what the Iranians are, and the Sunnis are two different peoples. And the Pope of Rome has more ties with the Sunnis than they do the Shiites. Nonetheless, when it comes down to it, it's that oil. Remember, Esau, according to the promise that was made to him by his father Isaac, would be on the fatness of the land. The shaman, the oil, actually has nothing to do with the fat of animals. It actually speaks of the fat of the earth. That would be his dwelling place, the moshav. And Esau does sit on the oil's world reserves. Through his brothers, of course, the intermarriages that he has made amongst the Arabic nations. Anyway, it's fixing to get very interesting. We're going to sit down, though, and really take the time to unwind some of these things that are happening in and around the Middle East. We know there's been serious things happening in Israel, as well as just recently 2 Israeli women. One was gunned down and shot at Damascus Gate, shot right in the head by an Arabic terrorist. The other one was critically wounded from her stab wound. She fought back courageously. She neutralized one of the terrorists there, and another officer came to the aid there and finally brought this situation to an end. But it's a very sad day in Israel. This happened actually yesterday, I believe it was, when this incident took place in Israel. The Intifada is still going on. Esau is still feeding the Jewish people to the sword, just as he did under Titus 2,000 years ago. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. Let's get caught up on these things tomorrow. Shalom, and God bless you.